now we also have someone joining us live via Zoom. Is Richard Kyle, known as Indonesian model, also actor and awareness campaigner for Orangutan.
Well, that's really wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Richard. Good morning. Hello, Richard. Can you hear us? Can you please unmute your audio so we could also hear you as well?
Yes, we still cannot hear you, but maybe we would want to give a brief introduction or information about orangutan that has a unique role such as shaping their forests and provide habitat and food for other fruit-eating species. And in commemoration of Orangutan Day on August 19, it's better late than never. So today on August 30th, as we are at the end of August.
Hi, ladies.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Richard.
Great morning, Richard.
Sorry, the screen said I couldn't unmute. I had to wait for the host to unmute me. So
Okay.
that was the connection problem right there. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yes, your question again.
Actually, we haven't asked you any questions, but we would like to say Happy Orangutan Day, even though it's a little bit late, but it's always better late than never.
Yes, it is
Yes, Happy Orangutan Day, yes.
a good time to talk about the orangutan. And also, first of all, can you talk to us more about your role, Richard, especially as an awareness campaigner in this foundation?
Yes, so it started in 2018 in April. My first, let's say, first trip to Nado Menteng, Kalimantan. I was approached by a company I worked with, and they were doing their CSR work. They asked me if I was be interested to work and do some volunteer work with orangutan in Kalimantan. And of course, I was right away excited and up for anything because I always love an adventure. But I guess my start of being connected with these species of when I was in British International School of Jakarta in year 6, and I learned about deforestation and particularly this species. So when I got the opportunity to be able to do a volunteer program and actually join them in doing their last mission of this program, which is a release, I was, for me, it was like an amazing opportunity. And from there, I was able to meet the CEO, Jan Martin, and get to know him and actually allow him to teach me and give me more knowledge about these beautiful species of Indonesia. From there, I got to know the team more and more, and I guess in some ways we held a very close relationship and friendship. And since then, let's say I'm a campaign awareness volunteer, and I've been very much close working with BOSF Foundation. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a few years, as you mentioned, and from year to year, do you think that the threats for orangutan and the foundation as well are getting bigger or more complicated? And what are the main threats to orangutans? If you can share with us, orangutans in the wild or orangutans in the quarantine at the foundation, and how does the BOSF work to address the issues?
Well, I think the main threats are most orangutans are rescued. They're either captured and sold illegally as pets, and often after that they're orphaned. So the working with the authorities like BKSDA, which is the Indonesian National Conservation Authorities, to try stop illegal trade. BOSF work closely and they come in to rescue these orangutans. And also, obviously, with the help, we need to educate the people how important it is to keep wildlife in the wild. So, I can say the journey from rescuing orangutan and also rehabilitating them through these, many steps is not a quick and easy process. It takes many years till we are allowed to finally have the mission to release them and go on a release campaign. Me and myself, I've learned over the years with the team, and what I see from BOSF, the work involved with, making, rehabilitating these orangutans, rescuing them, and putting them back into the wild is just something that's an ongoing mission that never ends, and it's something we need to always keep aware that it is important to allow our forests to flourish for us human beings as well.
And they're most definitely a critical part of our ecosystem as well. And you mentioned before of how there are complexities in terms of the recovery and rehabilitation process. Can you tell us just a little bit more about that? Because I think our viewers or even us, we are quite unaware of what it's like or how long it usually takes for them to rehabilitate. So tell us more about that.
Well, it starts off with rescue once they get a call from maybe a local or someone, a farmer saying, we found, the young'uns abandoned. BOS will step in. They'll rescue the orangutan and they'll take them back to the clinics, their headquarters, one in Nado Menteng, there's also, which is in Cambodia, and other bases they have. We call them rehabilitation centers. Once they're rescued, they're quarantined. Upon their arrival in the center, obviously orangutans undergo a big, thorough quarantine period. Veterinarians come in and check their health. Obviously, if they have medical treatment, they're obviously treated. These steps are really important because they need to fend off infectious disease and allow these rescued orangutans to now mingle with other rescued orangutans. So from there, they're put into a system, and in some ways, they're babies, then they need to learn how to fend for themselves again. So that takes time again. And let's say they go to forestry school, so they go into their nursing groups. And from a young age, they have babysitters, which are human helpers. And they, once they're received care all around 24 hours. And the caregivers obviously put them in a safe environment and teach them to develop skills like climbing, foraging, which they'll later use when they become more independent. And from there, they go to a pre-release island. And the pre-release island allows them to be more independent and actually fend for themselves in some ways. So once the monitoring team assess that a certain number of orangutans are, let's say, more mature and independent, and they've passed all their education in forestry school, they are now put into the list of orangutan that can be released into the wild, which is the final stage of this release. And from there we go on to a campaign, and we allow the team to structure a very rigorous journey back into Kalimantan rainforest and allow these orangutans to be let out of their cages and to be free back to their environment, the natural environment. So yes, it's a steady process that takes many, many years to get right, and a mission to be successful as well.
Okay, and how about the processing time? It also depends on each orangutan, right? Do you have a standard time, but then maybe it has to be adjustable as well with the orangutan themselves?
Absolutely, it depends on what the age of the orangutan. So if it's a baby orangutan at the age of 2 or 1, obviously they're going through forestry school until they adapt to become an independent orangutan. Most orangutans are with their mother till they're about 8 years old, if I'm correct, 8 to 10 years old. So if they're attached to their mother. So if you see that, if you know that, that means for about 8 to 10 years, they're not independent. They literally just watch what their mothers do and learn from that. So if you rescue a baby orangutan, that means they don't have anyone to teach them how to be an orangutan and how to survive in the forest. That's why these orangutans go to forestry school, and once they adapt and become independent, they show that willingness to live by themselves and live like an orangutan. Then we're able to put them back into the forest. So it just depends on the age of the orangutan when rescued, mainly.
Mm-hmm. And it's also great to know how it's quite important to learn about this, especially on the celebration of World Orangutan Day. And what do you think, Richard, is the significance of this day, especially because you've mentioned and elaborated to us how tedious the process is, how it takes so much work from so many parties in order to ensure its smoothness. Why do you think it's truly important and critical for people to continuously learn about the orangutan?
Yeah, Orangutan Day is observed annually on August 19th. So I really believe, obviously being a part of BOSF as a volunteer, I've learned lots, and I feel that I've gained knowledge enough to realize how much the orangutan plays a vital role in raising, and we also, raising awareness to the critical facts that they are facing. As we know, the main things, the threats they're facing are deforestation, commercial farming, and Indonesia being a developing country, we path the way for development. But with development happening so rapidly, and especially, let's say, taking up land that is natural resources, that obviously affects their habitat because that's where they live. So I think highlighting, Orangutan Day is urgent. So we, it's a reminder to, so that we can protect these endangered great apes and the rainforest, our ecosystem and their ecosystem. I think it serves a powerful message to share, and it's a responsibility to us to ensure the survival of orangutans and the preservation of this biodiversity that helps sustain, our ecosystem and culture.
But how about us as public? How can we also do to support the BOSF to celebrate the Orangutan Day and also the conservation of orangutan in Indonesia? Are there specific ways people can get involved?
Yes, there is. I think using smartphones, it's a great tool to get to have our voice heard. And using smartphones as individuals, raising awareness, getting people involved by letting them know about special days like the 19th of August, or just being a part of trying to be aware that this is one planet and we need to keep it healthy, and this is let's say only one species that are a key important role that help us keep our world flourished, especially with the rainforest. So I think getting involved, using your smartphone, educating others, tagging, resharing, following social media like Boss Foundation to learn more. I think that's super important. And it's also a fun thing because on social media sometimes it's nice to create awareness in the social aspects and anything in sustainability that allow us to, do good for the world, right? But another addition, you could definitely donate to Boss Foundation. You can also go to the Orangutan shop, or you can go to orangutan.or.id, and you can support by buying their products, because obviously all their products go back to their mission, which is habitat restoration, rescue, rehabilitation of the orangutans. So spreading the word is a huge contribution. Obviously, shopping for orangutan shop obviously helps the team and everyone, and that says you're doing something and helping us with our mission. So yeah, it's that is some of the ways you could help.
And now, Aisha, we know some of the ways that we can just also contribute, I hope, to the cause and to the mission of Boss Foundation. And Richard, during your time in this foundation, can you just share one story of something that has been truly impactful for you, or has really left a mark, especially in the work of the rescuing and rehabilitation of orangutans?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the high points of my life is after going through, well, obviously once we put the orangutans, the ones that are going to be released on a mission, we put them in cages and we put them on the trucks, or let's say the pickup cars, and we go through our journey to get them back into the forest. That's a 3-4 day event just to get into the forest. Once we're, and the things that we're going through, like going through rivers that are with big rapids, and successfully transporting them safely. And it's always a high risk. Going, having to fix our cars, having to chop down the overgrown roads that are not roads, and that strenuous journey into the forest to finally find a perfect spot, protected forest, should I say, a perfect spot for them to be released. I think the moment of releasing, especially the first time releasing that orangutan, I remember I released orangutan called Daryl, and when you open the cage and allow them to be set free, I think it's just such a special moment, because I remember when the first time one of the orangutans came out, they kind of looked at me and then turned around and usually jumped on a tree and then climbed up straight away. So I think you have special moments like that that make you feel like, okay, this is all worth it. All the hard work that the Boss Foundation do, and even the hard work of just doing the last step, which is a release mission, is just so worth it for them to be put back where they belong. So I think that's special.
Oh my God, I myself almost cried hearing that story. But did you cry during that special moment? I can imagine that that's very special.
Very
yeah. It is a very special moment. It's very emotional. I think for everyone too. I mean, I think I'm lucky as a campaign awareness to be involved with that. But I actually look at all the team and I see them, because they know these individual orangutans for so many years. So for them, there's this. They know about their personalities. They know about their health struggles. They know about where they were rescued. So for them, I look at them and I kind of put myself into the feet of them and go, wow, dedicating their life, their time, their energy is just, to me, is more than fascinating. It's something that just blows my mind. So I look up and salute the team every day because of the hard work and the good work they do. I mean, I'll tell you another experience, because we're on this topic. I remember Martin, the CEO of BOSF, he said, Rich, I want you to wake up in the morning at 3 a.m. and I want you to join the post-monitoring team. So after we release an orangutan, we still have to monitor them for over 2-3 weeks to make sure they adapt to their environment. Because if they don't, we still have to bring them back to the clinic or the rehabilitation center. So I joined the monitoring team. They get up at about 6 a.m. By 4 a.m., they've packed their food for the day, and we jump on a longboat and we go into where we released the orangutan, which is not far from base camp. And that's in the middle, it's dark, complete darkness. So they have to navigate their way through darkness. We finally get to the release spot and we wait, we sit and we wait, because orangutans wake up when the sun comes up. They'll come out of their nests and they'll forage, or they'll do whatever they want to do. And they'll make a new nest at the end of the day. But I remember from that 3 a.m., following an orangutan is not easy, because for us, we're going through jungle and the terrain is up and down. Whereas orangutan, they just go from tree to tree. So we have to follow them. We track them with a GPS device. And we follow them. We write down everything they do, every time they go to the toilet, every time they meet a friend, or every time they eat. Anything they do, we basically write down and write down data and have that ready. So every day we collect that data. And by the end of the day, it's about 6 p.m., the sun's going down. Then we're allowed to leave, because they're going to be there for the next day. So the monitoring team are literally on their feet, watching them every day for hours, on the most intense terrains you can imagine. If it's raining, you're just caught in the rain. They're just, I can't explain it. It seems like the hardest job in the world. So I salute all the monitoring team and what they do every day, until they can allow and say that, okay, this orangutan has adapted to their environment, so now we don't need to monitor them anymore.
Wow. I mean, that's quite amazing how you said that I mean, they say like rain or shine or any other conditions that they are just willing to put themselves in those situations. It reminds me, Aisha, of, you know, how people, let's say from like conservation organizations or even like Nat Geo would just go out into the wild and be there because there's so much care and respect for the animals.
So it's like basically living as orangutan as well. So experience how they live.
Yes.
Too, yeah.
And then if you think about their job to do that is to make sure that the Boss Foundation's mission from how many years ago from their baby that it's successful. Because if they're monitoring for over those 2 weeks and toughing it out for 2 weeks every day, maybe 2-3 weeks, once they can say, okay, they're going to be fine, then, you know, it's an accomplishment. But if you know, there are cases where some have to be brought back because they haven't adapted. And then once they're brought back, we still have to go through the process of bringing them back from the jungle, back into, you know, back to Nado Menteng, let's per se, and then again listing them to go to a pre-release island so they can be monitored again to see it as if they can actually live as an independent orangutan. Because one of the hardest things with I guess let's say this job is we have many orangutans. Like for right now, we have 300 orangutans in BOSF that are non-released. So there are people still in line waiting to be released. And there's also non-releasable orangutans. So you have to understand there's so much involved with trying to successfully release them, but also trying to find a home that's good enough for the ones that can't be released as well. So yeah, it's not just, you know, something that happens overnight. It's just a part of their, you know, system, their lifestyle, and it's something that we all, you know, BOSF have to work really hard to achieving these successes.
Yeah, so do you have any plans? What are your plans of releasing the orangutan and with BOSF in the early future?
I hope in the future we'll have more campaigns where I'll be involved. Recently I haven't, recently I went on a trip with another company and we were just doing a volunteer session at one of the rehabilitation centers. So we didn't go, it wasn't a campaign release. But that was a few months ago with other KOLs who I'm very close to. But for the future, I'll wait till there's a important task that they want me to join, or if there's another campaign for a release, I'll definitely be ready to go on my next venture into the jungle and enjoy, obviously, that process, even though it's a tough process, but making sure the next release is another successful one and just being involved. Again, doing my job being a awareness campaigner and raising awareness from their good work and the struggles of and the impact of orangutan survival.
Well, that is an insightful conversation. Richard, thank you so much again for coming to TVR World on this Friday morning here and for sharing with us all these wonderful stories that I have never heard before about the complexities of recovery, rehabilitation, of how every single rescue is also a team effort and how everything needs an interconnected, like teamwork from so many people. So thank you so much, Richard, for coming on TVR World, awareness campaigner from the Borneo Orangutan Survival or BOSS Foundation, Richard Kyle. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really agree with what Richard said as well, to utilize your social media to give more awareness about orangutan or other wildlife animals that we need to protect together as one planet, as one living creature for this lovely earth that we live in. Yeah,
definitely. It's I mean, all of us we need to come together and we need to truly put a collective effort, because I believe that, you know, just as what Richard has said before, with so much people putting their hearts out, and also their abilities for this collective purpose.
Yep.
I mean, nothing is impossible.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's one positive thing that you and all of us can do during this weekend. And we really wish you a very good weekend. For now, I'm Aisha Fabian.
And I'm Audrey Toyo. Thank you so much for watching TBR World. We'll be back next week, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And also several special Pope reports, so stay tuned for that. And for now, have a good weekend and
Bye.
bye.